So, what was Grandpa Bob's title and what did he do mainly in the Korean War?
During the Korean War, I was looking at this. This is his discharge papers. He came out in June of 52. In June of 1952, and he was a metalsmith second class. He's basically a welder. This is probably the easiest, most direct way to explain it. When the ship broke, he helped fix it.
Ships break?
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that can break on a ship. Whether you're going to get hit with something, or they're moving an airplane around on the aircraft carrier and it goes and hits something and something in the deck breaks, well, they got to go back and fix that. Different machines are going to have to be fixed and maintained, and that's what they did.
What was one of his more significant moments on the job?
I was never really told much about the significance of, there was never a big battle that he talked about. There was never some huge major event along those lines. I know he talked a lot about being amazed by how the planes could be lowered below decks. I mean, we got a picture of it here. That's a picture of the ship. And this big square right here in the middle, that was where the planes would go up and down. Everything you see underneath there is covered in airplanes. And now he said that was one of the most amazing things that he saw. But he did have a real scary time where he saw somebody die. And it was during an attack. And that was one of the few times that he would talk about something like that. That was probably one of the significant things to have happen. Because it didn't happen a lot on a Navy aircraft carrier.
What was some of his daily activities that he did on the ship?
Well, your grandpa could always sing. They were always doing something like that. They were also, near as I could figure, real big into the gymnastics thing. They built a high bar. They built a high bar on the ship, and then they did it again when they went to Manakani when they were stationed in the Philippines. They would do the giant arm swings, both the one hand and the two hand. They'd do flips coming off. And they found ways to occupy themselves because you had to be physically active. You just had to. I mean, there's a whole lot of hurry up and wait, and then wait some more, and then you got to wait some more. And so when you do get an opportunity to get out and do something, it's probably going to be something fairly physical.
What were some of the things he did on shore leave when he got off the boat?
Traveled a lot. He said he really liked Japan when he finally got there. It was a lot of I guess you'd call it sightseeing. But you're also with 50 other sailors, and you've been on a boat for 6.5 weeks. So what are 50 guys that are all between the ages of 19 and 25 going to do when they get turned loose in a foreign country? You're going to have a good bit of that.
That's what you don't learn in a social studies interview. How many years did he serve?
That's what I was just looking at. I can't find his entrance date to go back into the Korean War. He went in during World War II in December of 43. So basically waited. He got his first daughter raised before he went in for World War II. And then I know he was out for a period of time, and then he came back. He went back in for Korea and retired just short of having his 20th. So.
What are some of the stories from his theater that he heard from his crewmates? Not his stories, from his crewmates that may have come in from other ships. Or did he tell you this at all?
There isn't really anything that jumps out at me. I know the one. I don't have a story. A lot of those types of things where you would have exchanges of people from other ships is when they're in dry dock. Now, I want you to try to imagine a ship that big, okay, and they built a way to service that thing in the middle of the ocean. We were watching something on D-Day with that floating bridge. Same kind of an idea. They're going to have to do something so they can get up underneath the ship. And these dry docks would be connected. And you'd have a lot of exchange going on then. I know that because he was in the Pacific Theater, a lot of the people that he was with were from the Northwest. There wasn't a ton. It wasn't like you had a bunch of guys from New York going over Pacific Theater. And there were some that were around where we grew up in Kalispell. I know a guy up in Libby. He's actually still alive. It was on that boat. It's somewhere in that picture. So is your grandpa. But those were he talked more about the way things went as opposed to what happened. Those were what the stories that I got most.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.